All right, welcome. All right, we got everybody starting to get connected here. Welcome to the call today. We're going to give just a couple of minutes and allow everybody to get connected and get their audio ready, and then we'll get started. All right. Looks like we've got everybody getting connected, so that's really great. Let's get started today. Welcome to today's Clarity webinar. Our Clarity teams are really excited to have all of you joining our call today. We're looking forward to sharing this very hot topic to get the year started off. So before we do this, I do want to go through some housekeeping, make sure everybody knows how the webinar is going to work today. We are in a webinar format, which means everyone on the call is going to be muted and off camera throughout the presentation. But that doesn't mean you can't communicate with us. We do have the chat feature that we encourage you to open up, and you can use that throughout the presentation to share comments, information, and we'd love for you to drop in that chat your name and your practice and where you're joining us from today. If you have questions for the panelists, we are going to have a question and answer time at the end. And so we ask you to use the Q&A feature on the Zoom so that we can make sure we get to everyone's questions. All right, now that we've gotten through that, let's get started with the presentation today. I am Lindsay Shaw. I am the Vice President of Practice Development and Support here at Clarity Technologies. And my co-host today is going to be Donna Walker. She is one of our senior practice development consultants and works with our startup program primarily, as well as some of our existing practices that are going through our full PPS system. Our presentation today is going to feature Robbie Grayson, also one of our senior practice development coaches here who works with our startup program. And then our featured speaker today is Fran Acunzo from Akara Partners. We're really excited to have Robbie and Fran share with us today about MedSpa marketing essentials. So at this time, I'm going to kick this off to Fran and let him get started.
Thank you, Lindsay. Hello, everybody. So, marketing essentials, critical for the success of your practice is to have a robust marketing program in this med spa world. You need to communicate your message in order to hopefully bring in the leads that you need to generate your business. It's a competitive space. Everybody is out there speaking out to the public, and you want to be speaking the loudest or the most competitive. It's important to think in terms of your brand and how you leveraging your brand can increase and drive the revenue and also help create client retention by building up brand loyalty. Another a very important aspect to marketing your med spa. Keep in mind that your marketing spend equals your growth opportunity. It's directly proportionate. It's just like turning on the faucet. You turn on the faucet and the water comes out. Turn it up higher, more water comes out. Turn off the faucet and the water stops. Well, that's what would happen to your leads. Your leads would dry up without that marketing in being communicated into the marketplace. Let's talk about the foundations of a successful marketing program. To start with, these are the foundational aspects. First, you need to really understand your vision and mission. Define who your brand entity is, what your brand entity is. I always think of vision as the why. Why are you doing what you do? Why do you go to work every day? Why do you want to have a med spa or an aesthetic medical practice or any type of medical practice, right? Typically, if we're talking about a aesthetic practice, the vision should be all about enhancing the well-being, the beauty of your clients, your patients. What you do is your mission. So, providing skin rejuvenation, body contouring. This is the mission of your practice. You should be looking at target audience. And right now, pretty much the target audience is 25 to 54. It does go up from there, but typically when you're going over 54 on the age, plastic surgeons and dermatologists are servicing that market, the older market. Household incomes of 75 plus. People are surprised to hear that number. They think it's low. It's not low. People in household incomes of 75,000 and greater are looking to acquire or to buy MedSpa aesthetic services. And typically a 20-minute drive time. People don't drive far because they don't have to get the aesthetic services that they're looking for. It's important to have a competitive position. Now, are you the doc with the most experience in the marketplace? 30 years. Are you the doc with the best pedigree from the best schools, the critical research? Are you the location that has the best injectors and you're known for that? Your location, is it the largest and most beautiful, providing everything you can imagine in a medical spa type environment? Also, keep an eye on the key trends that's happening in the industry right now. Like GLP-1s are just extremely popular, and most practices are adopting them in their service set. So that's important too. Okay, let's talk about branding and the customer experience a little bit. Your brand is what your stakeholders think and feel about your med spa. That's what makes up your brand. You want to align aesthetics, the look and the feel of your brand image with your messaging, what you're saying about your business, and the service offerings that you have to build that whole complete brand identity. Align all of those together. Think in terms of, what does my client see, hear, smell, touch, and taste? Not only when they walk into your med spa, critical, but also when they interact with it at various touch points, like your website. Now, obviously, they can't smell anything, but they can see, hear, and they can get a feel for the touch. And so you want to make sure that all of that is in sync. And so when I walk in the door, the imagery I've seen, whether it be online, in a brochure, in a commercial, is matching my experience when I am in your location itself. It's a digital age. It's so imperative to make sure that you've got your digital marketing down, and it has overtaken the marketing tactics and strategies, basically. Website optimization, lead capture, have testimonials on your website, on the internet, before and after galleries, SEO and pay-per-click, search engine optimization, on page, off page, as well as pay-per-click ads, Google AdWords, to help increase your visibility. Very, very effective. Email marketing, nurturing leads and driving repeat visits. You need to be able to build an email list. And there should be thousands of people on your list. All of your clients, all the people who have had interest in your business in the past, you should be mailing them at least once a week. People that don't open the first mailer, you should reset the subject line, change it, and resend your email. Not only that, SMS, so texting is very important as well. I left that off here, but that's something that is critical now, and so many of the softwares allow you to do that. Can we go back, Lindsay or Donna?
Yeah, sorry about that. My computer just totally
It's got
went
another
black.
function.
It just totally went black on me for a second. So
Are you back up?
get that back up. Yes, I am. Sorry about that. There you go.
No, that's fine. Online reviews. It is critical that you promote online reviews. People buy today from reading reviews. Basically, it's yesterday's referral from a friend. Now, you don't need to have that friend tell you about it. You can go online and read through all the reviews. So it's important to have as many as possible. And then patient education through video journeys. Hey, Robbie, would you touch base on this?
Sure, absolutely. So because of the digital marketing, my lead comes in now. And so one of the assets that we have at Clarity are video journeys. So let's say your MedSpa is promoting laser and you get a lead from me on a laser. As I will give you my phone number, and there's a little bit more to it, but you're signing in, yes, I approve, and you get a video. And it's not just a video that you see immediately. First of all, Dr. Fran introduces himself and says, "Hi, Robbie. I'm so excited that you're interested in our laser program here at ABC MedSpa. And I want to give you some information before you come in." So basically, then it goes through a series of episodes, what to expect, what is a laser, how does it affect your skin? And we have, I think, 29 or 30 journeys, and I don't want to make this a commercial, but it is an amazing way to patient education is so huge. We have very, very savvy customers today. They know a lot more than the customer even of a few years ago. So this gives you a step up. You can use these journeys in the digital marketing directly from your website or your lead capture. You can also use them with your social media. Use them when you're doing a treatment plan with somebody and say, Donna, we talked about this. Here, let me shoot you this little journey so you can learn a little bit more about the procedure. So it just gives you a step ahead in terms of the communication with your patient and the education that's important for you to give those patients.
Right. Thank you, Robbie. Social media and content strategy. It's so important to build credibility through social media. And really, there was a day, and I used to say that social media was important just for brand awareness. It actually is a fantastic selling tool. People buy from whether it be advertising or social posts on social media. Make sure you choose the right platforms: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. My personal preference is that you focus on Instagram and Facebook. Those two are probably the most important. Engaging content, before and after transformations, patient testimonials, team highlights, reels, making sure you're using video extensively. People don't want to just see static posts anymore, and or just pictures. Those days are gone. Now it's got to be video on all of these things. And you do it on before and after. You could do it on testimonials. You could do it on the team highlights. So keep that in mind. Leveraging influencers that are out there. Trying to promote user-generated content, whether they posts or comments about posts that you're putting up. Live video, behind the scene content, live videos, as I was saying, and sort of behind the scenes, that's always exciting. Building trust and authenticity, showing, a peek behind the curtain. Show your patients what happens when the doctor is preparing to go into a surgery or a procedure. Those are fun posts. People love those. Your promotions and your seasonal marketing, holiday and event-based marketing campaigns like holiday open houses, limited time offers, all of these are really important, and you should be planning it in advance. Excuse me. You want to make sure you have gift cards available. You want to focus on having loyalty and referral programs, membership programs, very important. And the importance of timely promotional planning is it really, when you look at a successful med spa or aesthetic practice, they plan out at least 2 months in advance, a month to 2 months in advance. They plan 2 months at a time. Excuse me. Okay, Robbie.
Went down the wrong way. Want me to pick up here?
You could, yes.
So the importance of the promotional planning, and what I think exactly where Fran was about to go is the Cara Partners taught me this, is that if you do bi-monthly planning, so that's 6 planning periods in a year, you're also grabbing that seasonality, January, February, new year, March, April, spring into la. And I can go on, but you understand, but it's also more manageable to do your promotional planning on a bi-monthly basis. So all of this is as important as your digital marketing. But all of that should be a part of your promotional or your ongoing planning. How'd I do, Fran? I had a good teacher.
That was great. Thank you.
Okay.
My apologies. I don't know what happened. In-person marketing, community marketing, all very important. Having events and educational seminars, partnering with local businesses, salons, and fitness studios, wellness clinics, engaging in cause-related marketing, charity work.
So I'm going to pick up here and talk about, so now you've gotten all this information. We've talked about all the different tactics and the different levers you pull to that you can use to promote, to market your med spa. But how do you know if it works? What are you doing to measure it, and how do you know if it works? In my experience, and particularly with new development, even if there is a sound marketing plan in place, it often there is no thought given to the tracking and the monitoring and the measuring of that marketing. You can throw a lot of money away with a marketing campaign. So if you're not measuring the success of your marketing, if you're not equating that to the dollars that your marketing brought in to the dollars you spend to get a true ROI on your market, the efforts are wasted. You know, how many leads did you get from that marketing tactic or campaign, or in general, your marketing? Are you monitoring your marketing by tactic? You know, what is your SEO bringing in? What is your social media bringing in? And can you equate those new patients to the cost and get a pure ROI? So when we talk about the KPIs in marketing, and I'm just going to throw 3 out right now because it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of things that you can measure and monitor. But what we are told, based on the numbers we see in the industry, is that the cost of a lead is somewhere between $150 and $250 in the med spa industry of a new patient. Okay. So that's one metric you want to look at in the beginning. That should come down in time. And as you measure and refine your campaigns and understand what works for your practice, it will definitely come down. But that's one of the KPIs you want to look at. What is my new patient acquisition cost? I also think it's important that you know that you track the number of leads you come in and that you convert, and we want that to be about 50%. That's when you start to question things like, well, what's the quality of my leads? What if I'm getting 100 leads and I'm only converting 10, right? Well, maybe there's a problem with my leads. And then the other piece that I think is important is obviously the number of new leads to new patient consults. And then that's where you can put a dollar amount. So those are the only 3 key KPIs I'm going to talk about today. But if you just manage those 3, you're ahead of most people that are starting out in the world of aesthetic marketing. We had, and in our startup program, we've had quite a few people come through, and we had a practice open about a year ago. And I'm telling the story because this is what we don't want you to do. And they hired a marketing agency, a very, very reputable marketing agency, and decided to do 3 months of campaigns at $7,000 per campaign, $21,000. And we had a meeting after they opened, and they told us about this. And so our first question was, well, what did you get from that $21,000? And they had no idea. They had absolutely no idea. They may as well have made a donation to the local food shelter with that money, because it really didn't generate anything. Or if it did, they couldn't tell us. So you really want to make sure that you are tracking all of your ads, your website, your email campaigns, so that money you're spending can be justified. And you know, you should always give a campaign a period of time. You can't expect all those leads to come in day one, but after, say, 45 days, you want to constantly look at it. I think the number's 3 months, right, Fran? We want to run a campaign for 3 months. Is the typical average. So to be able to fairly monitor it, and particularly remember, if you're a new practice, it's going to that getting your message out there digitally takes maybe a little more time, which is why it's important to get your marketing started before you open your doors. So track those 3 things on all of your digital ads. You should be tracking that on every lead source, referrals, everything. But definitely your digital marketing that you're paying for, it's sort of the invisible marketing, right? I'm going to flip and go to the dedicated personnel to monitor it and talk then about audits and campaigns. This is all well and good. There are a lot of AI, particularly now, is allowing us to, it can be very useful in, you know, different platforms that take the leads, move them through different communication funnels, emails, text, etc. So there are monitoring and measurement opportunities through AI platforms, but they're worthless without that person in the front. Someone has to own your marketing. And what we find, again, sort of like the scenario I shared with you, is that a lot of new practices don't think about having someone devoted time to managing and owning your marketing. And when you first open, that may be your manager, that may be their responsibility, and then later it moves to someone else. We know that and when I talk about that personnel, it's not just to track these numbers and to measure things, it's also to communicate with those leads. It has been proven that if we connect with a lead within 1 hour, we are 10 times more likely to schedule that call. Think about it. I'm on the internet, I'm looking for whatever, and then I get a hit and it's a good, right? You're first in line. So we know these things work. You know, the marketing, excuse me, the measuring and the monitoring of your marketing lets you know how your money's working for you. And then having someone to own that, again, in the beginning, it may be a manager, but we want a check every hour, and then we want these numbers posted and put somewhere so that I can then on Friday or at the end of the month or when I have my marketing meeting, go back and say, this is how this worked for us. So you've got to have that person that is tracking those KPIs and taking all that information down. And then you have to use that information, use those metrics and strategize and audit that, your work. You need to be able to say, I got this many new leads from SEO. I got this many from, my Google ad campaigns. And so that is a crucial piece of it too. So your marketing is really it's the bloodline to the growth of your business, but it's a waste of money if you're not going to really pay it the same kind of attention you pay to the procedures you do, honestly, with the person that owns that. I told our team here before we started, we have a client that has been very diligently practicing all the things that we teach in their marketing. And so I got this email yesterday and I was just really excited because this is proof that, and I can tell you that in this practice, it's a plastic surgery and aesthetics center, so MedSpa and plastic surgery practice. The cost of their leads is under $90 per lead. And that is because of the attention that's been paid to the quality of the leads, the campaigns, the monitoring, and so on and so forth. But the email I got said that in the last 15 months, we've done 145 surgeries. Now, this was just surgeries, not laser injectables in the other areas. And of those, 49 came from other sources, non-digital sources, patient referrals, etc. But I have to the exact number, how many came from SEO? 62, 10 came from Google AdWords, 9 from word of mouth, patient referral, Meta campaign, Philadelphia Magazine, boom, 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 boom. And I can go back to every one of those leads that came in, tie it back to the spend on that tactic and know where this practice is. And so that's the sort of the bottom line is you can spend all this money and have all these, know the ways to get the marketing turning, but if you're not doing this part of it, you might as well throw your money away. So anyway, that's I'm kindly referred to as the lead sheriff.
So thank you, Fran and Robbie. That was amazing. You guys did so well. So I just want to take a few moments to talk about our startup program. For those of you who are thinking about or are starting your own medical aesthetics practices, we have a 4-part program that is just for you. We all know that launching a business can be overwhelming. There are so many pieces, your legal considerations, your branding, your staffing, equipment, as we talked about today, marketing, and of course, delivering top-tier treatments. That's where the new practice startup program begins. At Clarity, we've created a structured, step-by-step approach to help you go from planning to launching to growing a successful practice. Our program is designed to empower you with the right industry expertise and strategic tools so that you're not just opening a med spa, you're building a profitable, sustainable business with confidence. Whether you're just exploring the idea of opening a practice or you're already in the stages, This program ensures that you have a roadmap to success, avoiding the common pitfalls, and making informed decisions along the way. And the best part is, you're not doing it alone. You have access to our expert guidance, proven strategies, and a community of support to help you navigate each phase of the program. So what makes this program stand out? What sets it apart? Why choose this over all the other resources out there? First, let's talk about expert insights. This program isn't based on guesswork. It's built on proven strategies. Experts like Fran and Robbie and I bring decades of experience into launching and growing successful aesthetic practices. Our insights can help you navigate everything from the business structure and operations to marketing and patient retention. We offer flexible support. We understand that every practice is unique. Whether you're an investor, an entrepreneur, or a provider looking to transition into ownership, our program tailors the guidance to fit your needs. And for those of you who want to create a seamless and beautiful patient experience, we even offer optional facility layout services, helping you align your brand, your space, and workflow for maximum efficiency and impact. Some benefits for your practice. Throughout the startup program, you're going to receive comprehensive support. We don't just help you open your doors, we provide expertise to business planning, marketing, and operations to make sure you're set up for long-term success. This means guidance on everything from financial forecasting to branding and patient experience. Then we have growth-driven tools. One of the biggest challenges for new practices is building patient trust and keeping your team aligned. With Clarity's platform, you have access to patient engagement resources, structured staff training, and performance tracking so you can ensure consistency in service quality and business growth. Next, industry connections. We know that success isn't just about what you know, it's also about who you know. Through this program, you're gaining access to a network of experts, best practices, and resources that can help you stay ahead of the industry trends and challenges. And finally, this program is a turnkey solution. We provide a clear roadmap, flexible timelines, and ongoing community support so you can move at your own pace while still having structured guidance at every step. At the end of the day, we want to help you build, grow, and scale a practice that thrives, not just survives.
All right, thank you, Donna. Thank you, Fran and Robbie as well. What a great presentation today, you guys. We do have time for some Q&A. So if you would like to ask these experts any questions, please drop them into the Q&A section of your Zoom. We do have our chat open as well as Q&A, so we can certainly start answering those questions for you. If you'd like to connect with someone on our team, have a more personal question and answer experience with us, and learn more about what Donna was talking about or the options we have for practices that are already open and how we can support them as well, you can scan this QR code or you can use the link that we dropped in the chat. You can connect with one of our team members who can walk you through the tools that we have and share with you how we can help support your growing practice. So let's see if we've got any questions. I do have a question, and Fran or Robbie could answer this, or Donna too. But when it comes to marketing, what type of budget, how much money should a practice be spending on their marketing budget? I actually hear this question a lot working with clients of all different phases. So what kind of recommendations do you share around budgeting?
Fran, I'm gonna pitch you. You
Sure.
go.
Of course. In the first year, as a percentage to sales, it's going to be much higher. It could run 20% of your first year sales, 25%. But as time goes on, that number should come down to as close as 10% as possible in a mid-size, small to mid-size type of operation. As the business gets larger, say it's $4, $5, $6 million a year, typically that percentage pushes down towards 6% or as low as 6. It could be between 6 and 9%. So it just depends on the size of your business and also the life cycle, where you are.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? An established practice that's been around a long time, their marketing spend likely doesn't have to be as high because they're very well known, right? Lots of word of mouth, loyal clients filling up their schedules.
And also, when you think about it, $6 million and an 8% marketing spend is $480,000.
It's a lot of money, right?
It's a big spend where you have a typical sort of mid-sized practice at 2 million.
Yeah.
8% is only 160,000. So it's maybe not quite enough, but it's not far off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of another question right along with budget. And Robbie, I'd love to hear your insights. I know that in the startup program, you and Donna work to help people build out an actual forecast and budget.
Yeah.
What, Fran just shared what the budget should look like percentage wise. What things get categorized in that budget? Of course, we know our ad spend and things like that, but what other things fall under your marketing expense in your practice?
So we divide the money. Let's talk about pre-opening, pre-launch, and then
Yeah,
post.
that'd be great. Thank you.
So in your startup program, in your startup cost, we will go through the things you need to do for your startup launch marketing. So don't forget about things like all of your collateral being printed, your design work, your website being built. All of these are actual marketing spends that happen prior to. And then what we segue into the actual forecast. So we have our startup cost, pre-opening launch, and in that budget also is probably an event, a big grand opening launch event that you're going to have. But afterwards, the ongoing marketing is, I would say that every tactic that Fran went through here, we are considering you having in your marketing tactics once you open. You're going to have your SEO, managing that website, email blast, SMS, social media, that boots on the ground, getting engaged with other like businesses and using your stakeholders, those people who want to see you be successful, your brand ambassadors, all of those things. So it's money spent on all the tactics, but it's also time and people. And I think that's sort of was my point too with the measurement piece, is that just because you push the button and spend the money on the marketing doesn't mean that it's going to be successful, or do you even know? So there's still that human component. And like I said, as a startup, we recommend a manager, someone taking that, but that practice that Fran just referenced is doing $6 million, probably has a full-time employee that's devoted to that too.
Yeah.
So
Yes, at least one, maybe
yes,
two.
Right.
Exactly. So when we look at that 6% to that big number, that may have a couple salaries in there as well.
Yes,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and some great
That's-
external partners too, right? Some great external partners that are helping you with things, I'm sure, in a lot of
Big
those campaigns.
companies, yes. You
Right.
should ask yourself, is this communicating my message to the general marketplace? And the answer is yes, it belongs in the marketing budget.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Another question, you were mentioning getting the return on your investment, making sure you're auditing it, knowing what you're getting from it, and giving your marketing, about 3 months to see if a campaign is truly getting your return on your investment. What is the recommendation for that benchmark that you're looking for a return on your marketing investment?
my preference would be at least that I get 100% return. If I spend 5,000, I make 5,000.
Right, we want to break even for sure, right?
Right, but I would like to see that probably be 2/3.
Okay.
So, and you have to look at it by tactic also. You know, if I'm doing meta ads for injectables, and we don't recommend you doing Google AdWords for injectables, for example, then you know, I want it may be $700 a month. So if I get 2 patients, but I want you to think about one more thing with that patient, and that's the lifetime value of that patient.
Mhm.
So don't look at just, I have a new patient that spent $1,500 on my $700 ad spend. If you have the rest of your team doing all the things they should for that patient journey, for, you know, patient retention, you know, for falling in love with you and your team, then you have the lifetime value of a patient. And in the average med spa, the lifetime value of a patient is, and it should exceed $5,000. In a plastic surgery practice, it could be $20,000 to $25,000. So you have a new patient. Now the work is on you and your team to grow that opportunity. So it's not just on the, you know, the money that you spent versus what came in that first time.
Sure.
And that's another thing that you should be measuring, another, you know, KPI. I don't know if this is marketing, but how many repeat clients? If I have 10 new clients, how many came back in a year? 1 time, 2 times, how many times? We have some fun little calculators we play with
Mhm.
in the startup where we say, okay, if you got 50 leads this month and you converted 50% of those, and your average hourly revenue was this, what would you make? So there's some very thoughtful tools that we've built to help you figure that out in the beginning, because you don't really have any benchmarks. You don't know.
Sure. Brand new practices, right? You're building it up. You're seeing the sky's the limit at that point, right? We've got to.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of new practice owners think that if they build it, they'll come. But it doesn't
Yes.
work that way. And
Right.
the sky is definitely the limit, as long as you do it the right way.
Do it the right way, right? That's what we're here to talk about today, doing it the right way. So, one more question for you on our call today. And this is more of a, right, there was a great overview of all marketing channels today, different ways to do marketing. Right now, and I know Fran mentioned a little bit about trends with you know, more video and interactive things. What marketing channels or efforts, campaigns do you feel right now tend to be working the best in this market? Trends shift, right? We know this, like different things. So obviously we talked about digital, and of course, I know there's a lot of people that kind of still do some TV, do radio. Some are very focused on in-person events. So what kind of marketing are you all seeing with practices you work with that tend to be working really well right now?
I think first of all, you got to, from a digital standpoint, the most important thing is your SEO, right? I
Yeah.
mean, got to spend money with a good web digital company managing your SEO.
Yeah.
Now, you can, social media can be free, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Build that brand awareness, right, with your accounts, and yeah.
Leading them back to your website. But I mean, it's different, I think, for every practice. Every practice has a different concentration as far as social media. I have a plastic surgery center who cannot live without TikTok. He was having a heart attack thinking that TikTok was going to come down. He got most of his leads from TikTok. So that's what worked for him. But other practices, it's Instagram, and other practices, it's Facebook. So I think it depends on the practice, but I think that, you know, everything goes back to your website. If you know, attract the customers through social media, but you always send them back to your website. So your website's got to be number one, I think.
Yeah. And I also think that it's important to remember that you need to balance it. It's like a bicycle wheel with all the spokes.
Mhm.
And you need all those spokes,
Yeah.
social media, SEO, pay-per-click, possibly some print advertising, email broadcasts, SMS,
Grassroots marketing.
grassroots
Boots on the ground.
marketing,
In-house
referral
marketing,
programs, repeat programs.
yeah,
Right.
And it's through the balanced
yes.
communication of your message and the consistency. The most important things that practices don't do is they don't stay consistent with communicating their message. There's a lot of knee-jerk reaction happening to buying advertising and or trying tactics, and they don't give it 3 months, they give it 30 days and they give up on it and they go on to the next one. It really is, like the tortoise and the hare. It's slow and steady. It's the tortoise wins the race.
No, and I love that too. The bicycle wheel analogy is perfect, right? Because if something's not working right, we're gonna
Right.
we're gonna get a flat tire. It's not gonna go so well,
Yep.
right? So making sure that that's all balanced and thinking about we can't put all of our money just into one effort. It's a lot of different things, right?
Yes.
We do have one more question, and it goes right along with you all stressing about the website being very important here as it drives a lot of people into our practice. And Fran, you said earlier about it, sharing your brand, right? This is who you are. They should feel that from your website. This question is, should your website include pricing information? Now, this is a question that we get, I think, a lot from practices. I'd love to hear you all weigh in on how you feel about having prices on websites.
For the majority of aesthetic practices, I would say do not put prices on the website.
Mm.
Now, if you have this narrow scope, low cost leader,
Yeah.
and your selling price, sure, that's something you do, but that's a few and far between.
Yeah.
Because prices can be very misleading in our industry. It's $1,000 for one person and it's 2,000 for another, just depending on that person's needs.
Right.
Yeah, right. And I think that kind of actually leads in, and Robbie shared about having a dedicated person who's handling leads, and that person needs to be highly trained, right, on exactly what you're saying, the information you're collecting, how you convey that brand and experience through that conversation. And I think price comes up a lot there as well, right? And this is a lot about too, not just, right, it can be misleading on the website. It can also be misleading if we're just throwing out numbers when somebody calls us on the phone, right? And so a lot of times we really, in our industry, they need that consultation. What Robbie wants for Botox and needs for Botox is different than Lindsay, is different from Fran, is different than Donna. And right, it can be very difficult. And then we can be disappointing, I think, right? If we throw a number out there and somebody comes in and the expectations have been mismatched, that's not really how we want to start that relationship. So I saw everybody shaking their heads. I think everybody on the panel agrees with
Yes.
Fran on that recommendation for typically we're going to say, don't put those on your website. A side note from how that is conveyed, I often share with practices that from an administrative perspective as well, having prices on your website is actually kind of a nightmare, because anytime something changes on your menu or with your pricing, you got to make sure that you're getting it fixed on your website too. And depending on how you manage your website, who manages it, sometimes that takes some time. It's some effort to get that done. And so I always say too, think about the administrative effort that's a commitment that you're getting out there too. So thank you, panel, all of you so much for sharing today. I think we have wrapped up all the questions that we have. Any last comments or insights that anyone wants to share before we wrap up today? All right. I know we have another webinar coming up in March, so please stay tuned for that and join us. Make sure you get registered. We will be sharing an email follow-up out to all registrants after the call today to make sure you have access to this call if you'd like to rewatch it. And of course, you can scan that QR code and reach out to us with any questions. So thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate having you here, and we hope to see you next time. Have a great
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
all.
Bye-bye.